Hey, Rob.
Just quick, we're starting. I will call to order the Board of Commissioners Nether Providence Township meeting for August 28th, 2025, and we'll start with roll call.
Morning, Providence Township Manager.
Yeah, sorry. Robert Scott, Township Solicitor.
Max Cooper, Ward 1 Commissioner.
Matt Gorson, Ward 2.
Kate McKenzie, 4th Ward.
Beth Henry, Ward 3.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Robert O'Connor here from Ward 6.
And Candace Carpo, Ward 7.
And we're missing our 5th Ward Commissioner tonight. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, our executive session tonight will be held after the meeting. First on the agenda is public comment. So this would be comment for anything that's not otherwise on the agenda, which I believe you are. Maybe this is public comment. All right.
Thanks, Barbara. I was appreciating it.
Yeah, it's on. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Marty Spiegel. I'm the mayor in Swarthmore. For those of you that do, it's great to see you in a slightly different format. I'm here really for just a real quick and simple matter. I wanted to come to address the commission, both as a resident of our municipalities as well as representative of elected officials and the residents of Swarthmore, just to express my and their thanks to Nether Providence and the commissioners for their incredible willingness to step up in assisting in getting the ALS, the new ambulance service, completed. It was nothing short of amazing that we had this done in such a short period of time. You know, we had a very short timeline to get an advanced life support ambulance on the streets to make up for what we were losing when Crozier closed and we lost ambulance services from the Crozier system. And I really appreciate all of you done, because I know you went well above and beyond what needed to be done to make sure that this thing happened. Especially, I wanted to thank Max Cooper, because quite honestly, without Max's insight, foresight, and leadership on this matter, I really suspect it would never have happened. It was his, he pushed this from the beginning. He made sure he stayed on point, but he also made sure that we understood the importance of this. I'd be the first one to admit I had many times during the course of our deliberations that I was not quite sure that we were not losing our minds and trying to do something quite of this magnitude. You know, pulling 4 municipalities together is hard enough, but to do it for something as complicated as advanced life support services to our residents is something else again. So really, I don't think that any of us should lose sight of how important this is as an example to other municipalities in terms of what can be done when we gather together and leave our egos and our self-interest at the door and just work to the betterment and the benefit of our residents. So really, I mean, I think this is an incredible step. I think it's only the first step in many different collaborations that will be going on over the course of the next several years, both because we need to and because finances are going to dictate that we do something very serious. Our fire companies are on a prime example of what's going on and how budgetarily we need to really make sure we do something, or we're going to lose vital services that we are required to provide to our residents. So that's all I wanted to say. I wanted to come again and represent Swarthmore and thank all of you. Really, without Nether Providence, this would not have happened. So thank you all for your patience and your generosity and lending us the talent of Max Cooper. So thanks again. I'm going to step out because I have another meeting at 8 o'clock. So
No, thank you so much for coming. And we were super lucky to have Max. And I agree that it is amazing that this came together so quickly. And I mean, it needed to, but it really went actually pretty easy. I mean, you guys were in the thick of it, but like for us, it looked like it came together right nicely. So, yes.
yeah, between Max and really our fire chief, Conlon Booth, who really brought his experience in EMS services to the table. It was remarkable what was accomplished in 3 months, really. I mean, we have 2 fully equipped ambulances on the street when needed to make sure that, in fact, our residents are served. So, again, thank you all, and I'm sure we'll be seeing each other again. Okay.
Good luck.
Thanks for coming out here and taking time. Thanks for taking your time.
My pleasure. Okay.
Take care.
Thanks, Marty. All right. We have announced at a couple other meetings, we have openings on the Historical Commission and the EAC. I think the board has reached out to residents, so please continue to do that to see if there's some interest. The April 10th and July 24th meeting minutes were in our packet. April 10th was a little bit delayed because there was a lot of public comment and there were some edits that needed to be made to those minutes. I reviewed them and I'm comfortable. So I will make a motion to approve the board meeting minutes from April 10th and July 24th, 2025. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries 6-0. Is there anything on the solicitor's report that's not otherwise on the agenda? All right, and our engineer is on vacation today, and we are on to our presentation by Carter Shinners for our Eagle Scout project. Come on up. Maureen's our tech guru.
During the intermission.
Yeah. There we go. We're a little limited here with technology. Yeah.
Hello, my name is Carter Shinners, and I'm a Boy Scout. I'm a Scout, and this is the final steps of my journey with this project. And my idea is to build a trail in the Cape Park. So there's a whole part of the park, the north side of the park, that is not really used. There's all overgrown, and I just want to make a trail to access that part of the park. I was hoping to get it done September, October, sometime this fall, and just try to make a safe trail for people on shore. This is kind of what I said last time. I wanted to replace the families and everyone to enjoy. I want to make something that I can actually use, allow people to make projects that are not going to be used. I just thought I should make something I can enjoy.
So this will connect to some of the trails that are already there?
Yeah, it would branch off from like the gravel trail
Mhm.
that was previously made, and it's by the creek kind of,
Okay.
and it will go. I have a map.
Hold on, you click something on the remote.
Mm-hmm.
this is part of the map. It will go like basically along the creek, and then I can try to connect it to the road, which is where like the new sidewalk is.
Yeah.
And what I need to do is I have the trail map. So I basically have two ideas for this. One, I can make the long trail to the road, like I said. And the second idea is I can make, there's like an area in the middle of, like halfway down the trail, that I can put a picnic table or benches or something like that. And that was just another idea.
I do think people love trails in that area, and so if you haven't already, we should connect you with our public works team. They're finishing up a bunch of grant projects right now, and so they'll probably kill me for saying that because they have leaf collection and stuff coming up, but they will probably at least be able to give you some ideas and talk about where we can get the gravel so it's sort of consistent.
Yeah. It's already kind of like cleared out the trail because it's like a deer trail.
Mhm.
It's like already kind of paved out until I guess this area, and then it's kind of harder to get back there.
Mhm.
But that was just one idea if the whole trail won't work out.
Mhm.
And I worked with Ben Pickup to, he like guided me, he like walked me down the trail, showed me around the park, and he's been helping me up to this point. And then these are pictures of that cleared out area where I can put a picnic table or something like that. There's just like a few obstacles like that huge log right there. I would need like bigger tools to get that out. And that's it.
I think that's a great idea. It's a newer park that people are really liking, and the trails are great there. I think either one sounds great to me. I do really like the trail idea, so we should maybe connect them with Nick, and you guys can meet and talk about that.
Yeah, Carter, I'll touch base with you maybe one day next week after school. We could meet up and on site and go over everything. Okay?
Thank you very much. Very good job.
Fantastic. I'll just add as a kind of interesting historical footnote, all of the trails that exist in Helen Kate Furness, my understanding were an Eagle Scout project from decades past. And so it's, you never know what sort of, groundwork you'll lay. Perhaps a board 20 years from now will further expand on the work that you did. So thank you for, investing in our parks and our town.
All right, so you guys are welcome to stay, but you're also welcome to leave.
Build us a new clicker.
Yeah. On to a presentation from Cathy Spahr from the Delaware County Planning Department about Vision Zero Delco. Thank you.
Good night.
Should we watch some Netflix? Yeah.
All right, so for those of you who don't know me, because some of you do here, my name is Cathy Spahr. I am an infrastructure planner for the Delaware County Planning Department, and I was also the project manager for Vision Zero Delco. And I feel really sorry for Mr. Scott, because I think this might be his like third presentation. Great? Okay. So soon he'll be able to give it. So tonight we're going to talk about what Vision Zero is. No, it doesn't have to do with our eyes. What we heard from our community engagement, the state of safety in Delaware County, and specifically Heather Providence, and some countermeasures and how we can take action. So what is Vision Zero? Vision Zero is an approach to eliminating fatalities and serious injury crashes on our roadways. And I realize that sounds like, yeah, no way, that's not going to happen. However, in New Jersey, they have made that happen. They have not had a serious injury crash or fatality on the roads in 7 years. So if they can do it in Jersey, we can do it. No, just putting that out there, throwing the block down. So, for us, we have a certain set of beliefs. We believe that human beings are vulnerable. We are not Iron Men, right? Between us and a car, we lose every time. We believe that humans make mistakes. That's just what they to work with municipalities to connect them to Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission, to connect them to PennDOT. We also believe that we're here to create collaboration. Safety doesn't end at municipal boundaries, and there's an opportunity to collaborate with your neighbors. We also have a great role to play as far as data gathering and sharing goes, because we have an amazing GIS department who can help take the very complicated PennDOT data and make it useful for everybody, including myself. We also know where the money comes from. We all like money. Let's bring it home, and we're going to help you do that. And at the end of the day, traffic safety should be the foundation of everything that we do. Because if we want to build trails, we want to make sure people can walk there and get there or bike there safely, right? All of those things are built on the foundation of safety. So why should Nether Providence adopt Vision Zero? Because it unlocks federal dollars. There is a grant funding program that still exists called Safe Streets and Roads for All. To have access to the implementation money from that, you need to have a Vision Zero plan. So the county said, let's go do a Vision Zero plan for our 49 municipalities. So we don't have 49 different plans, but also some of our municipalities don't have the capacity and are overburdened, and they just can't pursue something like that. Like for Little Millborn, that would make no sense. For Little Rutledge, that would make no sense. So why don't we take care of this for you? You can adopt it, and then it unlocks those federal dollars for you. It's also a point of leverage. So when you apply for grants, you can say, hey, we believe in safety, we adopted Vision Zero. It gets you to the table with PennDOT. It gets you to the table with DERPC to say, we believe in this, and we're here to make this work. It helps identify projects. The way we set up our Vision Zero plan, we really try to identify local solutions that can be projects that you guys can work on. And it's, again, opportunities to collaborate with your neighbors, and it gives you guys a chance to say, we believe in a foundation of safety. It just adds to that safety bucket, you know, right along with your first responders and EMS. So what did we hear? Well, we had our Vision Zero task force, which was comprised of your usual alphabet soup. You know, PennDOT, DERPC, FHWA, DCTMA, Chester Economic Development Authority, you know, I mean, just kind of everybody who was in that traffic safety space was on our task force. And then we also tried something new. So we decided to do safety ambassadors, which is something the county planning department has never done. And we worked with 16 different residents from around the county. We divided the county up into our planning districts, which is how people are appointed to the Delaware County Planning Commission. And so in Nether Providence, you guys were part of District 2. And so you guys had Ed Klein and Rosie Rayburn. They actually went to one of Leanne Kruger's blood drives, because we're better to get surveys filled out than when people can't do it. And are possibly bored. So they also went to the Springfield Y and the Ridley Y. They did some walk audits. So, but we did this because people from their communities know their communities best and know how to reach out to their neighbors better than I do. Like, I can go take care of Bethel for you. I got Bethel, you know what I mean? But I don't know what the best process is in, say, Upper Darby or here in Nether Providence. So we wanted to work with residents to do that, to make sure our outreach was rooted in community and inclusive. And it was an opportunity to, you know, be innovative and try something new. So they were everywhere. Like I said, they were at libraries, YMCA's, blood drives, farmers markets, senior centers. They went to council meetings. They went to businesses and community events. They did over 90+ engagement events and community visits. So they were very, very busy. They also helped us with some focus groups. So we did a focus group at the Chester Senior Center. We did one with crossing guards, and then we did a separate one with school bus drivers, and then another one with first responders, because they are where the rubber meets the road and they see things that most people don't see. And so we wanted to hear their stories and their experiences. And then Upper Providence actually invited us to come do a focus group there, and Chester Heights did as well. The one in Chester Heights was actually areas of concern up on this map. So a total of 678 comments were put on the maps, and our amazing GIS department digitized all of them. And you can actually dig into an application that we have on our website and look at what we heard and where we heard it and how we heard it and all of that, because they digitized that information for us. So none of this is going to come as a surprise. It hasn't to anybody yet. What did we hear? Well, speeding's a problem. Yep, it is. And people want traffic calming, and they want reduced speed limits. People also feel most unsafe when they're walking, rolling, or biking. Also not surprising. People want protected bike lanes, separated paths. They want complete sidewalks and trails and better lighting, because some of those roads get really dark at night, right? And then the last thing is people aren't following the rules of the road. And this is something that we really have heard that people feel since COVID. People just get on the roads and act like jerks, right? They blow stop signs, they don't listen to the school bus drivers and stop for the school buses. They drive aggressively, and they're talking, on their phones, which is illegal, by the way, now. In case you guys didn't know, I'm sure you all know, because you're the commissioners. And so people want more enforcement of these traffic behaviors. So what is the state of safety? After all the data and what we heard, we looked at the data from 2018 to 2022. 130 people died on Delaware County roads in traffic crashes. 28 people were struck and killed while they were walking, and 2 people were struck and killed while they were biking. 56% of fatal or serious injury reduction actions happen when people are walking in or crossing the road. Our consultants were very perplexed by this. They were like, why are people walking the road when there's sidewalks? And I didn't have an answer for her. Apparently it's a Delco thing. I'm not really sure. But I do know that then a couple days later, it was like walk at work, and the entire planning department was walking down the middle of the road. So, I mean, we were in media, in an alley, but still there was a sidewalk there for all of us. So it's a Delco thing. But so we don't know why people do that, but we do know that there are areas without sidewalks, and that some of our crossings for our pedestrians are definitely not safe. So 51% of fatal or serious injury crashes occur at intersections, and finally, 85% of all fatal crashes occur on PennDOT roads. So that's not really surprising, considering PennDOT owns a lot of roads, especially in District 6, which is what we're in. And also, the higher speed roads, you're going to have more crashes because speed kills. That's just how physics works out. A pedestrian struck by a car going 20 miles an hour has a 90% chance of survival. A pedestrian struck by a car going 40 miles per hour only has a 20% chance of survival. And that's when we talk about humans being vulnerable, this really plays that out. So to identify how we were going to attack our roads, we create what's called a high injury network. In Delaware County, we call ours corridors of concern. Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission is also working on a regional Vision Zero plan right now, and they are calling theirs the Regional High Injury Network, or RHIN. So pretty much all of ours overlap. We just went in tighter for a more manageable number to start working on. So we have 28 miles of roads that are considered corridors of concern that we have prioritized to address, because they're the most dangerous for just general driving, or for also vulnerable road users, which include pedestrians, bicyclists, children, senior citizens. So this is what we have going on for our high injury network in Delco, and then also regionally. This is the high injury network as it relates to nether province. You guys actually don't have any on our corridors of concern, but as you can see, there's a teeny little bit of the regional high injury network down here, and then a teeny bit up here. So the blue for Delaware Valley Regional Planning Commission is bike head crashes, and the red is just it's whole lot more complex. And so we don't want them to distract from the real proactive opportunities here that we can take. So we also developed what are called crash profiles. We developed 5 of them. Here are the first 3. Crash profiles are like where common crashes occur over and over and over again of the same type and characteristic. So for example, you have the vulnerable road users injured at large intersections, pedestrian injuries along roads with missing sidewalks. This is great for people, you know, we were talking about earlier that apparently don't really walk in roads. Here is a reason for it, though, there isn't that. So here are the other 2 types of crash profiles that we have. Now, notice that these 2 here are focused on local roads. And we did that because we wanted to make sure there was local opportunity to address those crashes. So in Providence, you have 2 types of crash profiles that show up in your municipality, crash profile 1 and then crash profile 4. So we have, to me, and these are identified here on this map. So this green circle matches the color here for 4, right? And then the orange with the here matching that. Those are local, those are projects that you can work with your engineer or a consultant to say, what can we do to address this intersection and be proactive in making it safer? So with all of this, we put together a report. And this is your report on the state of safety specifically for Nether Providence. That includes, you know, corridors of concern for us, which Delaware County, you guys don't have any, but how many crashes you have for every mile of road, where does it fall in the scheme of crashes in Delaware County, the crash profiles, kind of, you know, where the crashes are occurring. 11 of them are on local roads, 197 are on state roads. So that's your guys' crash profile report. So what are we doing to address this? So we've laid out the landscape of what's going on. Well, we came up with countermeasures. We have a quick build toolkit that consists of 12 countermeasures that are easier to implement and cost less money, but we actually have a total of, I think it's 56 countermeasures in total. That if they're not part of the quick build, they're likely more complex to implement. I identified some quick builds that could potentially work in your municipality, but again, I have this all on a app that you can look at and dig into it some more. We also did provide a couple of examples of countermeasures in action. This is actually in Chester at Highland Avenue and Swart Street, and it just lays out how you can take those countermeasures and those quick builds and apply them to an intersection. Now, I always show this one because it made me very happy to learn that that section of Highland Avenue is actually a local road. And so is Swartz, and so that meant that Chester can actually do something about this intersection without having to work with PennDOT. And so what they decided to do was they decided to apply for an SS4A grant from the federal government to do demonstration projects at this intersection and then 2 more. And so we're very grateful that they get it because this is right out of school in Chester. So it would be really cool to actually have something from the plan that, you know, become reality. So we have a whole bunch of safety recommendations that are divided into different categories: safety, design, education and training, land use and planning, policy and programs. In the next year, these are what the county has committed to working on. So create and maintain a public Vision Zero data dashboard, that's already done. That's on the website, it's done. So check that off. Create a corridor concern response plan. We actually applied for SS4A money to start doing road safety audits on some of the corridors and concerns. We can start working on that with PennDOT. Actually, PennDOT was so, I didn't even need to ask for a letter of support from them. They just like sent it. I was like, oh, it's reached to me with PennDOT. Because we're at the table with safety, you know. We continue to do regular capital events along the corridors of concern. We went to Senator John King Senior Fair in Chi working on establishing a rapid response team, so that, and we have to decide like what that looks like. Is it just for, vulnerable road user crashes? Is it for all crashes? Are we gonna worry about that if it's on 95? Probably not. We're going around and educating the local jurisdictions. I'm here with you tonight, so you can check that off. And one of the other things we also want to look at is how we can explore and implement automated speed enforcement, which we will need our legislators for that. So this is the website where everything is. Vision Zero Delco is actually a big GIS application that I built that has all of these different things in it that can really bring the report that we wrote to life, the plan to life. It allows you to dig into that data so it's just not a static map, and you can check it out. So we have, our maps, data, dashboards, reports and concerns, crash profiles, the inventory of crashes. We have our Vision Zero concern dashboard, which actually ties right back to the report of Vision Zero concern. So residents can come in here and report concerns of Vision Zero issues. So they, honestly, most of the ones that have been reported are enforcement issues. So like people blowing stop signs or not using pedestrians. We also are hoping people will take the Vision Zero pledge, because at the end of the day, we are all responsible for our safety, for the safety of ourselves, our families, our neighbors, our communities. How we drive matters. Whether we're on our phone while we're driving matters. If we're speeding, all of that matters. So we need to be leaders in how we drive. And then we're also tracking the municipal, decisions on whether they're adopting this or not for transparency. So as soon as the municipality agrees to have you come give a presentation, they get changed to being under consideration. If they adopt it, they get changed to yes. And if the municipality sends me the resolution that they passed, then I put that up there with it too, so people can see all of that for transparency. I'm like super big into transparency. I know where it is. And then we also have tried to put the power of making our roads safer by creating a wall audit app. So we use the AARP toolkit for wall audits, and I took that and I put it into a GIS tool that allows people to do it on their phone, and then that data comes back to us. So we already used it at work for a project that we're working on now. And then finally, all the stuff that was on the community engagement is over there. And like I said, you can dig into the community engagement comments score. So, and all, you can track us and how we're doing it. So, so that is Vision Zero, and I certainly hope that you guys will consider adopting Vision Zero resolution.
No, thank you. That's really helpful. It's interesting to see that data and the specific intersections that it focuses in on. I mean, it's something that we hear about constantly. So we are really working on a sidewalk up and down Providence Road, and we're, third of the way there, but we just consistently apply for grants and are doing the best we can there. But we have so many other roads. I think just this week we've gotten requests again for West Rose Valley and Avondale. Beatty needs work. Like some of our major roads absolutely need sidewalks. So it would be great to maybe have this plan, and I know if that helps us get grant funding, even better.
Do you have a model resolution for us? Wording? Or we can just.
I think I sent it in an email.
Bob, this is your third round of this.
But he's seen them.
I thought you had as well.
He's seen the resolution 2 other times.
What's your success rate at helping with grant applications?
Well, we always provide letters of support, and we have helped kind of guide some grant applications. Like there's one that Collingdale and Darby Borough got as a partnership. They got a TCI grant from DBRPC to look at that bizarre intersection of Springfield and McDade and Maine, that's like brutal over there. And so that's about to get under contract right now. Personally, I would say when I write a grant, I got about 90% right now. But I haven't written a grant in a little while, so. But like we got a bunch of LSA grants a while ago. which I wrote 4 of the 7 that we applied for and got. We got a $2.5 million grant from the Biden infrastructure law under the Reconnecting Communities grant program that no longer exists. And for a while, we actually didn't think we had the money, but we have the money. And that's for Route 291 in Chester, because we're going to be working on that and putting in the East Coast Greenway, trying to make that safer for the residents. That corridor is actually the most dangerous corridor, I would say, in Delaware County. Like the Tilghman and Route 291 is like literally the most dangerous intersection in Delaware County. So I would say I feel like we do pretty well, but if you don't know how to write a grant, that's going to be hard.
Well, this is,
I'm not going to lie. You know?
our assistant manager does know how to write grants, and so that's what my question was sort of like, but she's sort of newer to our team. And then do you guys team up to do that, or do you provide that assistant? It's not really what you do.
So we have provided support in like writing grants. Like I've worked with Chester. Usually we put a little bit more into municipalities that are overburdened. You know what I mean? And don't necessarily have the capacity. Like I helped the one that Chester just applied for the SS4A that came straight out of the plan. I helped them with that. I was like, look, just take that and put it in the grant. You know what I mean?
But you can maybe review them for some buzzwords and things
we'll
like that,
review
because we
them
do have the
and stuff.
capacity,
We
but it'd be
always,
helpful.
Are happy to write letters of
Yeah.
support. You know, there was one letter where I was like, oh no, we got to put more Vision Zero. So like I tweaked it and added more Vision Zero to it, you know. So, but we're also happy to facilitate conversations. Like if there's issues that you're having and you want to talk to TDRPC, we'll help you set that up. Talk to PennDOT, we'll help set that up, you know. And I think that's like a role that we've gotten better at.
It would be great to have a meeting to talk to PennDOT. I mean, there's certain areas like on Beatty Road where they're just, the people fly, and we've proposed a million different options, and they basically say no to everything. And so I don't know if those are roadblocks that, you know, we can work through. I mean, it would be, obviously the work would be on the township, but they're just unwilling to listen at this point to any options otherwise.
I mean, all I can say is that, you know, when I presented at Upper Providence, there was a resident who came to talk about the intersection of North Ridley Creek where it comes into Baltimore as you come down out of
that's
Media,
bad, yeah.
and then, you know, it backs all the way up to Kirk, and then it backs up Kirk, and it's like a total nightmare. And he came to talk about that, and then he followed up with a really nice email that was so nice I didn't even have to rewrite it. I was just able to forward it on to PennDOT, and they were like, "We'll look at this. We'll look at this. We got a comment about this. We'll look at this." And I'm like, "Okay, great." You know, so they are pretty responsive. They've been pretty responsive. I mean, they got back to me like in 2 hours, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Look, I mean, like I said, they said, "Yes, I know." I was like, what's going on here? I was like, somebody drank some Kool-Aid today. You know, so they're showing up, you know what I mean? But we're showing up as the county as well, you know, and I think that's like really important. Like we are coming with the fight, right? So another example of like us trying to just put Vision Zero out there is the project for the 352 Route 1 interchange that's going to go in front of Riddle Hospital. And then 352 around to the intersection with 452, and then 452 on Route 1. So that whole triangle. And we just have finished what we're calling our active transportation plan, which is Walk World Delco. And we show a side path going down Route 1 in front of Riddle. And then also a side path along 352. And so we're in this meeting, and they're like, well, we're going to put in a 6-foot shoulder, and then bicyclists can bike in this 6-foot shoulder. And we were all like, no. Middletown was like, no, we are not comfortable with that. And I'm like, I am not comfortable with that either. No, why would you do that? Well, we're reducing the speed limit to 35 miles an hour. Oh, okay. We'll see how that works out. Because I can promise you, nobody's going to go 35, right? Except during rush hour when they only get to go 15, you know, like, and I was like, no. So I said, hey, look, we have this side path in our plan. Like, how about you lose the 6-foot shoulder and put in the side path instead? And so we sent it to them, we sent them all the data, all that, and they're looking at it now.
Mhm.
You know, because I said to them, I said, we're here for Vision Zero, and that's the Vision Zero,
Mhm.
not the 6-foot shoulder where people can bike. That's not Vision Zero.
Mhm.
But there's this like really bizarre thought process that I don't understand. It's not logical to me. But it's probably an engineer came up with it. Sorry for the engineer. And that if a bicyclist is on the road with cars, they know the risk. There you go. I'm like, okay. Yeah. But the side path, if you put a side path in, you have to put in a certain amount of buffer.
Mhm.
And I'm like, but it's a side path and it's like removed there. But they don't know the risk then.
Mhm.
Makes sense. You were mentioning that there's, on the website,
Mhm.
if I had a concern, I could go in and log that concern.
Mhm.
We have many residents write to us all of the time about concerns.
Mhm.
Lack of sidewalks or intersections or pedestrian crosswalks aren't there, whatever it might be. Is there any merit to,
Sending it out to
well,
them.
just saying to them, look, we're hearing you.
Right.
We understand, we're doing what we can, but you might want to log it here too. Is that
Absolutely.
good
So-
information for you to have?
I mean, it's fine. You know, Lansdowne sent it out to their residents. And so most of the 67 concerns right now are from Lansdowne, which is fine. And when I went and looked at the concerns, I'm like, these are all like, these are not me. These are for your police to get on the job and start doing. So I sent it, I said, here's the results. You need to look at these because these are places where your officers can go park their butts
Mhm.
and like snag some bad driving, you know?
Sure.
And so that's the only thing I would say. At this point, the only deficiency with that app is that I don't get notified when somebody submits something.
Okay.
So I have to go in and look and check and see like what's going on and stuff like that. So the only thing I would say is that, yeah, you can go ahead and do that, but Maureen should be regularly looking at it like me to see, you know, is there enforcement stuff that, because a lot of it is enforcement. Like, are there places that, you know, people might put in, people are stopping for the buses, you know what I mean? And that would be where you would go put an officer out there for a couple times.
access to that, like.
It's a public, yeah, it's public. Like, who submitted it is not public, only I can see that. But where the issue is and what the issue is, yeah, that's public. Because I believe in transparency. So, and there are some issues, like when I was testing it out, there's an intersection in Garnet Valley that's on there because I was testing it out. But, you know, most of the issues have really been like enforcement.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll just tell you really quick, the first couple of decades in my, as a commissioner, that was my biggest complaint, was always not traffic calming, and I'm sure that all municipals probably get it.
Mhm.
I'll also tell you too, really quick, it was funny, because when I first became a commissioner, I had gone to our chief, and I had begged him to do a traffic detail, and he kind of didn't really want to do it, but he did it, and I didn't understand why until I came home that day, and I lost like 2 or 3 dozen fans that day.
Well,
But it was all the neighbors. It was all the neighbors who were doing the speeding.
well, yeah, so that's the other thing that like kills me.
It was all the people who were complaining were doing the.
Doing the speeding themselves. Like, when I used to work for Newtown Township and people would complain about speeding happening in White Horse, like in the community off White Horse Road. And I'm like, but it's you guys.
Yeah.
Like, or they're complaining over in Echo Valley and I'm like, it's you guys, right? You know, like, I don't know what to tell you, it's you guys, right? Like, slow down, you know? And that's not to say there aren't things that can be done to force people to slow down. You know, how we build roads, like my favorite example of how we build roads and them not being right would be the new section of 322 in Concord Township. If you've driven down it, it used to be a nightmare, but now it's like a big, beautiful highway. Just fresh and straight and smooth, and it just says go 70, and you're like, okay. Okay, the speed limit's 45. So like, roads talk to us, right? And how we build them matters. And so if we build a road that's a highway and expect people to go 45,
we're like smacking ourselves in the faces, right? Like, how about you don't build it for it to tell people to go 70? You know?
Well, thank you very much. I feel like there's a lot of opportunity to work together. Yeah.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bob wants to know if we come back in the next month.
He's gonna give it next month.
Well, wait, Bob, where are you a solicitor?
Lansdowne meeting, I just checked, this is my score. Lansdowne meeting, Swarthmore.
Well, I haven't been to, I don't think I did Swarthmore yet.
No, I just found a new email.
So I'll probably be there next. Actually, they were talking about not having me come and just adopting it without.
Oh, okay, maybe that's it.
So,
But
So maybe you'll get
I'll have a resolution for the board for next meeting.
All right, well, thank you. So the next item on the agenda is, I guess, is this more of an announcement, Bob? That this is officially the public meeting for the proposed ordinance to adopt the 2018 International Fire Code. We had discussed that before, that the fire code that we had adopted was much older and we need to be updated. There doesn't seem to be much public comment about this.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I mean, this is, the township's working under the last one was from 2009.
Okay.
1996.
Okay.
And so then the next step is to advertise the ordinance, or it's been advertised? Okay. Okay. And we, okay. So then, oh, it's in public. Oh, okay. So then that's later in the agenda then. All right, then we are on to Government Relations Committee report with Commissioner Cooper.
We've had so many exciting conversations already. I feel like the meeting's just getting started now. So just 3 items of discussion for update today. The first was already touched on when Mayor Spiegel came and spoke to us. So EMS update, we had our ribbon cutting ceremony. The ALS upgrade that we funded in collaboration with Swarthmore, Rutledge, and Rose Valley has been successful. We have ALS vehicles staffed by ALS-capable clinicians out in the world, responding to patients and helping our residents. As we discussed at our last meeting, we have created a working group that's going to continue meeting. Our next meeting is September 10th. You appointed me to be our representative to that, and I plan on attending. Our initial conversation will be a review of our preliminary run data. And I know, talking with Katie, we're kind of curious to see what that initial run data looks like, what are the additional initial kind of revenue projections look like, and whether or not they hold as we move into budget season and start planning around that financially. So I'll keep everyone updated on that.
Yeah, are they going to get that data like monthly?
I will find out at this first meeting. Yeah,
No, it would
what
be very
they plan
interesting to
on.
see, the ratio of the townships contributing and where it's being used.
The very preliminary conversation I had as a kind of a sideline during the ribbon cutting ceremony is it's being well utilized. A lot of people are calling 911. They're responding to all the calls effectively, and we have more vehicles on the road than we initially anticipated. You may recall we talked about upgrading 2 BLS ambulances to ALS ambulances, and we did that. But there was also an opportunity to purchase at a very low cost one of the chase cars from Crozier. And they did that because the cost of purchase was essentially less than the specialized monitoring equipment inside the vehicle. And so they really did that as a way to get the monitoring equipment, which they would have needed to purchase anyway as part of the ALS upgrade. But now they also get a chase car, which they have fixed and is on the road and is operating. And if they wanted to at a future date, they could sell the chase car and recoup the entire cost of the purchase just from a fair market value of the vehicle perspective. So it seemed like a kind of a savvy financial move. And so they did that. And so now we have more vehicles on the road than we anticipated.
Will the data capture like what municipalities the ALS is going into?
Yeah, the data will capture where the 911 calls are coming from and where they're responding. So we'll see, if we go into one of our neighbors, we'll see if a neighbor comes into us due to mutual aid, all of that will be captured.
We might be asking some neighbors to chip in.
Maybe. Or they might be asking us.
Could be.
The next item is item 1B. There's I believe it's a PDF that's available inside the folder if anyone wants to review. It's a letter of intent. And so what this is I had a preliminary meeting with Chief Conlon Booth and Kristen Seymour of Swarthmore with the DCED to review what sort of assistance they could provide us as Nether, Swarthmore, Rose Valley, Rutledge consider kind of further developing our mutual ALS plan into an EMS like regional authority sort of structure. And they are able to provide us some kind of technical support and assistance as we go through that process. And there's potential for financial support as well, but I think the majority of the support they'll provide would be kind of technical guidance and assistance. So that is a letter, I believe it was signed by Kate, formally requesting. So that's really just an item for review, nothing we need to take action on. And the last item is an update on the community development block grant funds for improvements to Hepford Park. So we were awarded $131,000 in funding for these improvements. As you might remember, at the time of applications, ball field improvements were initially included, but then were deemed ineligible. So that $131,000 will go to parking lot improvements, the addition of a gazebo, an expanded concrete pad next to the snack bar. These were all funded. So the next step in this process is meeting with the Office of House and Community Development, which is scheduled for September, is what I understand. Great. And so that's everything on my report. Happy to take any questions, have a conversation, or turn it over to Beth.
Thanks. On to Parks and Open Space Committee report with Commissioner Henry.
Thank you. I have a few really exciting things to update everybody about. Some exciting things that have happened at our parks. First of all, at Martha Burton, the parking spots, the Foursquare and Hopscotch have been painted and opened for public use. We have also installed 2 picnic tables in the picnic grove area along the path. At Sapovitz, the multi-purpose court has been resurfaced and painted. The 2 pickleball courts and 1 basketball court have been open for public use. And we've also installed 2 picnic tables in the picnic area at Sapovitz Park. And then at Gooley, a few things to report. The walking path along the playground connecting the lower parking lot to the upper parking lot has been completed. Crews are now working on grading the dirt around the walking path and fixing the water management issues with the upper parking lot. Once completed, that area will be seeded and hayed. There was some recent damage in the turf field in the middle of the field. A temporary patch was completed while we wait for a proposal for a long-term repair. And then we're also in the process of scheduling a contractor to fix the turf in the corner of the field. With completion of those projects, we've scheduled a date for the parks to be inspected on September 12th. Before this date, crews will go over to the parks to ensure that they are all clean and ready for inspection. And just wanted to thank all the hard work that went into this. All sorts of a cast of characters are involved in all of these projects. So big thanks to everyone for seeing it through.
It really, it looks great. I have a new routine now that school has come, and I run through our parks in the morning and scare the public works guys. But they all look really, really great. I mean, honestly, the path at Gooley looks amazing. It looks very professionally done, and the public works guys really deserve a huge thank you. It's such a change from the sort of slowdown we had this spring. So, and thank you. Yeah, thank you to you guys for coordinating all that. On to Public Safety Committee report with Commissioner Garson.
All right, thank you. Just 3 quick items on the agenda for this evening. The first, this is an ordinance that we previously advertised to adopt the 2018 International Fire Code. Currently, we're operating under the 1996 version of the Fire Code, so we got to get up into the 2000s. So I'm going to make a motion to adopt ordinance number 864, which adopts the International Fire Code 2018 edition. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries 6-0. Moving on.
Matt, can I interrupt real quick and ask a question on that?
Yeah.
I don't know if I would ask you or maybe Bob, but my question would be, like, when we have townhomes or apartments and we have dryer vents and units that people don't clean out regularly, what can we do about that? Because I think that's a potential problem.
I don't know. You're talking, and I'm having a little trouble hearing you, but the question is, what can you do about people not cleaning dryer vents in
Yeah, like if they're in
apartments?
close proximity. Like if
I
your
mean-
neighbor never cleans theirs, it could start a fire that comes over into my house.
Is that
Yeah.
an HOA thing? If it's on the
I was
exterior of
thinking
the-
the same thing. An HOA would be the best means of addressing that.
Okay.
The township can't really be entering premises without knowledge, and whereas an HOA has more ability to kind of intrude in the owners.
I just didn't know if like in the new
Yeah.
BOCA thing, if there was.
I don't know I don't know the details of the fire code well enough, so the fire marshal would know,
Okay.
and you might want to talk to the fire marshal. He might
Okay.
have ideas.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me interrupt. I appreciate it.
No.
Matt.
All right, the second item, this deals with fire call card grids, sort of a mouthful. So we need to ratify a letter which authorized our Township Emergency Management Coordinator, Pat O'Rourke, to adjust the fire call grids. This will give our fire companies the opportunity to adjust the call cards as needed to ensure that the township has proper fire coverage across the township. So I will move to ratify the letter authorizing Pat O'Rourke, Township Emergency Management Coordinator, to adjust the fire call grids.
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Robert.
That carries 6-0. Moving on to the last item. This is a resolution to apply for a TASA grant. Just pulling up the resolution. So there's a transportation alternative set-aside program to fund a sidewalk on Plush Mill Road from where it intersects with the Leaper-Smedley Trail to the Mills of Victoria. The design includes the construction of a pedestrian bridge alongside the existing bridge over Crum Creek and a crosswalk to connect the Crum Woods Trail. I think previously we thought perhaps we could apply for this grant for another phase of the Providence Road sidewalk, but we've learned that because we've already kind of gone down the road and some preliminary work had been done for this other area, it would just behoove us to apply for this grant for the sidewalk on Plush Mill Road. It'd be a higher chance of success, we think, if we apply for the grant this way. So having said that, I will move to apply for the Transportation Alternative Set-Aside Program grant to fund a sidewalk on Plush Mill Road.
Second.
Any comments or questions?
I will just note that this, I think, would be absolutely huge. We went sort of all in on this a couple years ago and tried to partner with Springfield and do what we could. The workers at Plush Mill Senior Center walk across the bridge is very dangerous. And during COVID, I know especially I was walking through, it connects, the two different sort of trails along there, and people just dart across. It's really, really dangerous. Some work there would be really amazing, and I can't believe that we have the opportunity to actually get this. I think no one thought that this was possible.
Yeah.
I think it might be helpful to let the college know and the senior centers that we're doing this and see if they, I don't know how helpful a letter of support for both of them would be, but I think especially the workers to Plush Mills, and they're coming from everywhere and literally taking their hands every day when they're crossing that bridge would be helpful.
I would say that, and to the extent we have any connections over in Springfield Township, because I think probably the workers at the senior center are coming from a bus near the mall in Springfield.
Yeah, I mean, this would be absolutely amazing if we can get it. There's been such a focus on Providence Road, which we still should focus on, but this would be incredible.
Yeah, all that makes sense. And I know the bridge myself, I've darted across it on some of my running routes, so I appreciate the attention to it. I would just say I don't have any contacts in Springfield municipal government, but Jen O'Mara is the state rep, and I know she represents Swarthmore as well, and I think we have a relationship with her.
We had also, this was several years ago, met with a commissioner in Springfield, so I will try to dig
Dave
up
Grady had a call
Yeah.
going with one or two of them on there, right?
Right,
Who seemed interested, but not necessarily interested in funding it, so.
right.
I have a contact over at Springfield. I'll reach out to see who the new board members are and who we can speak with.
Okay.
All right, so all those in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that carries 6-0. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you. On to the August bills. Not a ton, so we should be relatively quick. First, we will do the AP bills list. Some regular charges here are audit firm on page 1, our police department medical on the middle of page 1, our workers' comp, Go-To Technologies, our July charge for that. The middle of page 2, some materials for the work that was done with Gooley, which I believe are grant funded. On middle of page 2, of the $18,000 charge for our skid steer. That's Public Works had noted they really needed that, and so we approved that and budgeted for it last year. The LJ Palilla, I thought we were finished paying. Is this our final?
No, it's not.
All right, so this is our construction contractor related to the Public Works garage. Not a huge charge, but we do still have a couple coming. And what are those for? Just closing out different. How much? Okay. And what are they billing as certain parts are? Yeah.
Through the process, because of the type of project it is, it's all like AIA architectural billing. So after they're done different pieces of the project, it goes over to Lynn Architects for them to sign off on the invoices before we pay them. So through the channels of trying to get from Paolella to us to Lynn Architects back to us, it's a delay through the whole process.
They fixed some of those issues we were having with, I think it was with the HVAC and maybe the roof, ceiling.
From my understanding, they have.
They have, good, okay. Because we were
Well,
holding back some money.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
We weren't going to pay them the retainage.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's, the HVAC is really the venting as well. They were having issues with the venting there, right?
Last I talked to Carl, he said things were okay.
Okay.
Put some ceiling fans in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I know there have been some issues that need to be resolved, but it does look very nice
It looks-
over there. The new fence, and even the way the front is, and the new sort of bins in the front look much better. Okay, and then on the bottom of page 2, Lynn Architects, that's our UNO inspections for July that are reimbursed by charges to residents needing such inspections. And that's it for the AP bills. On to the interim bills. We have our July recycling charge for B&L. Our sewer disposal fee for the third quarter for CDCA on second page. Our first payment for the Swarthmore ALS, which we've talked about a lot tonight. It's unfortunately somewhat of a surprise expense, but same for any municipality that's trying to make up for the loss of Crozier coverage. On page 6, traffic planning and design, LEAPR feasibility study. I'm blanking on what that is.
We were trying to go along with the county plan to try to get connectivity through all the trails and root systems down to 291, ultimately, was the goal. So we had a feasibility study that we engaged in to look at connections from the end of the Leaper-Smedley Trail on like Avondale Road to try to find a safe way to get from there down through into Ridley. So there was a feasibility study
It
that
is
was.
grant funded? Okay.
Yeah, it's grant funded, yes.
Okay.
So
And so
Delco
that
Greenways.
study's been, is it? It's near.
It's near
Okay.
ending.
Well, that will be interesting.
They'll be here another night for a presentation.
Okay. We love a good presentation. Yes, we like the long ones. So page 7, tree state property maintenance for some tree removals in Furness. Do you know, how are we doing with, we've.
I don't want to say we're still under.
Yeah, which funny enough, we have been consistently increasing our budget for tree maintenance because we've absolutely blown it in the last several years. So it seems like we maybe did increase it to an appropriate amount. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, yeah, we shouldn't, but.
Right.
Wait for hurricane.
Yeah, I mean, but usually by this point every year we're way above, so we're doing better with budgeting for that. Then we have a charge from the school district for gasoline used for our police and fire marshal. Our zoning legal services on the bottom of page 7 for the second quarter. And then just one charge of note on the AP bills list is some charges at Wawa for gas because apparently the school district pumps were down. Were they being just, there was an issue or they were just being
They were
maintained?
resurfacing their parking lot
Oh,
area,
right.
so it was
Okay.
closed.
Gotcha. Okay, well, it's unfortunate that we don't sort of, we still have to, we pay tax in that situation, but it's not a ton of money. So I will make a motion to adopt or approve the bills list in the amount of $137,011.97, the interim bills list in the amount of $678,834.66, and the AP card list in the amount of $25,463.35. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries 6-0. And then we can move on to our agreement to extend our contract with the Delaware County Public Schools Healthcare Trust. This is where the police healthcare comes from. It's provided through Gallagher. This is the provider that the police prefer, and it is part of our contract with them. The good news is that our costs there are actually increasing less than 6% versus an industry average of over 9%. So we are in pretty good shape there. So, Bob, I need to vote on. Okay. I will make a motion to approve the purchase agreement extension with Delaware County Public Schools Healthcare Trust regarding the police medical healthcare. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion carries 6-0. Are we ready to talk about the 10-mile?
I think so.
Okay, because I didn't, is there something I need to sign here? So,
No, not yet.
okay, so it's just informational. Okay, so the, hopefully, as residents are aware and have signed up for, the county is hosting hopefully the first of many Delco 10-milers. It will be on Sunday, September 28th. It will begin at Rose Tree Park and finish at Subaru Park. A lot of the course, and I actually believe the most of any municipality goes through Nether Providence. The township was asked to provide a letter of support to PennDOT for this event. All of the municipalities that that have the race sort of running through them are asked to provide this. We have committed to providing some police that will cover our area, and the county is reimbursing for that. So this is really no financial impact at all. And I think it's a really cool event, and I hope a lot of residents will participate. Bob, do I?
You should ask for a motion to approve the letter,
Okay.
and it needs to get to PennDOT quickly. The county's on us to
Okay.
get it out.
I will make a motion to approve the letter of support to PennDOT supporting the Delco 10-miler. Can I get a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries 6-0.
You want me to do this one?
Yes.
So the former Rite Aid property on Baltimore Avenue is 90% in Media Borough, 10% in Nether Providence, I'm estimating. The building lies entirely in Media. It is being converted into a car wash. Existing building, no additional footprint, just within the existing building. It's by right. They have filed a land development plan with Media Borough, even though it's quite, they possibly could have pushed back on that, but they are. And the developer's lawyer asked if the township wants to take an interest in it and have them come to you and similarly, review it. I did not feel it was necessary since it lies so much in Media, but it didn't occur to me until today that it's not just my call, it's Charles's call, and so he afforded it to him. He's going to take a look and then decide whether he feels the need for the township to take any, oversight on the process, and if not, I would if you're okay with this, if he's agreeable that we don't need to take it on, I'd just send a letter to their lawyer saying the township's not going to require that they come make an application.
It sounds like the only concern that's been raised is just making sure they're taking care of traffic patterns. So
Yep.
as long as Charles is comfortable with that.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Bob.
Okay.
On to the Community Health and Environment Report. That's Commissioner Barnes, who's not here tonight. She does not have much on her agenda, just an EAC update and a Historical Commission update, which I understand there are not any. So we can move on to Infrastructure and Public Works with Commissioner O'Connor.
Thank you so much. And to begin my agenda tonight, first item is an update on Township Public Works Department maintenance. In that regard, township vehicles and equipment were maintained according to the maintenance schedule. Crews have been out fixing stormwater inlets, cleaning inlets, and cutting brush away from signs and roadways throughout the township. In addition, crews have been also out repainting stop signs and stop bars throughout the township as part of their summer painting. They also plan to continue painting stop bars and crosswalks throughout the remainder of the summer. Additionally, the crew has been out working on the sanitary sewer maintenance and investigating sewer issues throughout the township. Public Works Department currently has a contractor out doing root treatment in the sanitary sewer lines throughout the township as well. We also have a crew currently out working on getting all of the leaf machines preventative maintenance done so that they will be in great shape to start the leaf season, which will be coming up soon. The Public Works crews also made multiple mulch deliveries and bagged leaf pickups along with collecting trash throughout the township's parks and buildings. The leaf site was inspected by DEP and by a Delaware County recycling manager, and no violations on either site were found. As a matter of fact, they were both well-maintained and very clean. So with that said, we certainly thank all the folks in the Public Works Department and Nick for doing a great job over there. So that's the Public Works report. In addition, just have two quick items here. The township, as we know, has been participating in a joint salt bid with about 11 other municipalities to get better pricing on our salt that we fortunately never seem to need. Anyway, this year, the low bidder was Riverside Construction Materials at $69.75 a ton. And with that said, I would move that we accept the low bid of Riverside Construction Materials in the sum of $69.75 per ton. Do I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any questions, comments, or discussion? And hearing none, all in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
And anyone opposed? And looks like the motion carries unanimously 6-0. Thank you so much.
Just for comparison, do you remember what our price was last year? Was it
The
similar?
same price.
Oh, that's great.
I thought this was
Okay.
a historical pretty good price. If I recalled, sometimes they got like the 80s, 90s, or 100 per ton.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, sorry,
Okay.
we're over.
And with that, or is there any other?
No.
No, okay. And the last item on the Public Works agenda tonight is the recycling contract, which is coming to an end. So in light of that, I guess I need to make a motion here to advertise in September for bids to replace our recycling contract.
Which
Right.
I understand is going to be, the similar RFP that we put out last time, which breaks this up into the pickup and then disposal, which hopefully gets us some more bids. We do struggle to get bids. Bob,
Yeah,
anything
Liz.
else on that? Okay.
I feel like last
Sums it up.
yeah, really good, like
No, yeah, no changes to the current program.
Okay, so with that said, may I have a second?
second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additional questions or comments? or
Yeah, sorry, I was
discussion?
out of
That's
turn.
okay. That's all right. We'll excuse you. So, all right, all in favor, please vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone
Aye.
opposed? And it looks like the motion carries again unanimously 6-0. Thank you so much, and that concludes my report.
Thank you. And we do not have anything on Building and Zoning Committee report. I know Commissioner Carbone is so bummed about that. And on to the manager's report with
The only thing I have here is a reminder that there's a household hazardous waste event on September 6th at the Emergency Services Training Center. So if anybody has items to get rid of, please make sure to check that out.
Is there
to
a
get
flyer
from
in our packet on that? That's a good thing to send out to residents. Everybody loves a good.
I can put it in there again. There
Yeah,
was
could
one
you email
earlier
that
in the
to all
year.
of us? Like, that's good to forward
I
along.
will. And that's all for me.
All right, thank you. We are adjourned. Our next meeting is the workshop meeting on September 11th.